A goalkeeper collision, one spilled cross. And just like that, Mexico became the first nation on planet Earth to qualify for the knockout rounds of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Luis Romo pounced on a catastrophic mistake by South Korea goalkeeper Seung-Gyu, who spilled a cross in his box, and the Estadio Akron in Guadalajara absolutely erupted. 45,000 fans losing their minds. El Tri, first place, done deal. But here's what nobody is talking about. Mexico didn't dominate this game. They didn't dismantle Korea. South Korea actually finished the match with a better XG total, 0.69 to Mexico's 0.48. So what does that actually tell us about this Mexican team? Are they a genuine World Cup contender, or just a team riding good fortune on home soil? Stay right there, because the answer will shock you. Still with me? Good. Because this match was so much more than a 1-0 scoreline. I'm your soccer queen, and this channel is where we go deeper than the highlights, deeper than the headlines, and deeper than your average post-match reaction. Let's get into it. So here's the full picture. June 18th, 2026, Guadalajara Stadium, Estadio Akron. Group A, Mexico versus Korea Republic. Both teams came into this match having already won their openers. Mexico had beaten South Africa 2-0 in Mexico City. Korea Republic had come from behind to stun Czechia 2-0. So this wasn't just any group stage fixture. This was a collision between two teams who both believed they could win this group outright. 45,522 fans packed into that stadium. A sea of green. Home crowd, home pressure. And Javier Aguirre already dealing with a massive problem. Vice captain César Montes suspended after his red card against South Africa. That forced Edson Álvarez to drop into a back four alongside Johan Vázquez. A defensive reshuffle that nobody was fully confident about heading into kickoff. On the other side, Heung-min lined Korea up in a 3-4-2-1, built to frustrate, built to control midfield, and built around one man, Son Heung-min. The captain, the talisman, the guy who single-handedly makes South Korea dangerous in any game, on any surface, against any opponent. For 50 minutes, this match was tight, tense, and honestly, pretty flat. Then came the moment. Julian Quiñones whipped in a cross. Seung-Gyu collided with his own defender Lee Kang-in, spilled the ball, and Luis Romo was there. Tap in. 1-0. Game changed forever. Korea pushed late. Rangel produced a double save in the 87th minute that will be replayed on Mexican television for the next decade. Final score, Mexico 1-0 Korea Republic. El Tri, first team through to the round of 32. Today I'm going to cover three things. 1. What this result really says about Mexico's squad depth. 2. Why Son Heung-min's World Cup so far is becoming a genuine crisis. And 3. The bold truth about where both of these teams actually stand heading into their final group games. Let's get into it. Point 1. Mexico's squad depth is carrying them further than their soccer is. State it boldly. Mexico did not play well in this game. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The co-hosts of the FIFA World Cup 2026, playing in front of 45,000 screaming fans in Guadalajara, were outplayed in terms of expected goals by a South Korea side that everyone wrote off before kickoff. Korea finished with an XG of 0.69. Mexico, 0.48. You don't win soccer matches on XG, but that number tells you everything about the first half. Passive, cautious, almost frightened. So how are they winning? Depth, resilience, and the kind of squad options that Javier Aguirre is using brilliantly. Think about this. César Montes, one of their starting center backs, was suspended. Gone. A lesser squad collapses under that kind of pressure at a World Cup. Instead, Aguirre slid Edson Álvarez into that defensive role, and the captain was absolutely immense. Clearance off the line in the 15th minute, shutting down Son Heung-min, organizing the back line like a general commanding troops. The man rated 7 out of 10 by multiple outlets, and honestly, that might be generous to how important he actually was. And then there's Raúl Rangel, the goalkeeper who is quietly becoming the story of this tournament for Mexico. He kept a clean sheet against South Africa, he kept a clean sheet against Korea, and that double save in the 87th minute, denying Cho Gae-sung at point-blank range, was the kind of moment that wins World Cups. He's now only the second Mexican goalkeeper in history to keep clean sheets in each of his first 2 World Cup appearances. The first, Guillermo Ochoa in 2014. Let that sink in. Here's where I challenge the mainstream opinion, though. Everyone is praising Aguirre's tactical setup. And yes, the man just became the first head coach from a CONCACAF nation to manage 10 World Cup matches. Historic, legendary. But let's not pretend the system is purring. Brian Gutierrez was invisible in the first half. Raúl Jiménez, their supposed striker, hasn't had a moment in this game worth talking about. The attacking structure is still disjointed, still searching for fluency. Mexico are winning not because their system is brilliant, but because their individual players are bailing out the system when it matters most. That's a compliment to the players, but it's also a warning for the knockout rounds. When the margins get tighter, and they will, you cannot survive on individual heroics alone. Compare it to 2002, when Aguirre last had Mexico rolling at a World Cup. That team had structure. That team had identity. This team has spirit, has leaders, has moments, but the identity is still blurry. And they need to fix that before the round of 32. Point 2. Son Heung-min's World Cup is quietly becoming a crisis. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Son Heung-min, captain of Korea Republic, one of the most decorated attackers of his generation. A man who has scored over 300 career goals. A man who left Tottenham Hotspur for LAFC this year and proved he still has everything it takes at the highest level. And yet, through 2 World Cup games, Son has been a ghost. Against Czechia in the opener, he struggled to impose himself. Against Mexico, it was more of the same. Edson Álvarez and the Mexico backline simply refused to give him space, and the moment he got it, the ball was gone. He finished the game without a single goal, without a meaningful assist, and without the kind of decisive moment you expect from a player of his caliber on the biggest stage in the world. Now, here's the thing most people miss. This isn't entirely Son's fault. Korea's system under Hong Myung-bo is designed to be compact, to control midfield through Hwang In-bom and Paek Sung-ho, and to rely on Son for moments of individual magic rather than building play through him. But when you set up that way and your talisman isn't firing, you have no plan B. None. Korea had some dangerous late moments. Cho Gae-sung nearly headed home an equalizer. Yang had a chance too. But those were scrambled opportunities, not constructed ones. Not the kind of soccer that beats elite teams in the knockout rounds. Korea Republic still have South Africa to play in their final group game. They can still progress. But Son Heung-min needs a performance, a real one, and he needs it fast. Because right now, the greatest soccerer in Korean history is being erased at his last World Cup. And that is genuinely heartbreaking to watch. We're not done yet, because the third point is the one that changes everything. Point 3. This result has completely redrawn the knockout stage map, and nobody is ready for what's coming. Let's lay out the facts. Mexico are through. First place in Group A, guaranteed. They finished their group stage against Czechia back at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. And because they're already qualified, Aguirre can rotate, rest key players, and fine-tune his system without a single drop of pressure. That is an enormous advantage heading into the round of 32. Think about what that means tactically. Aguirre can bring Montes back into the starting lineup, slide Alvarez back into his natural midfield role, and suddenly, Mexico looked like a completely different animal. A midfield general back in the engine room, a settled back four, Rangel in goal with 2 consecutive clean sheets and the confidence of a man who knows he belongs at this level. That's not the same Mexico that struggled to create against Korea. That's a Mexico that could genuinely hurt someone in the knockout rounds. And here's the other side of that coin. Korea Republic now face South Africa in Monterrey on June 24th, knowing exactly what they need. A win, and they're through. A draw might not be enough depending on other results. The pressure shifts entirely onto Heung-min's shoulders. And that South Africa team? Don't sleep on them. They lost to Mexico, but they showed moments of real quality. This is not a free 3 points for Korea, not even close. So the stakes couldn't be higher. Mexico cruising into the knockout rounds with rest and rotation. Korea fighting for their World Cup lives against a team with nothing to lose. 2 completely different trajectories, born from one spilled cross in the 50th minute at Guadalajara. The butterfly effect of Kim Seung-Gyu's mistake is still rippling outward, and it will keep rippling. The hot take. And I mean it this time. Here it is. My verdict. My bold, specific, completely confident take that I will stand behind regardless of what anyone in the comments says. Raúl Rangel, not Luis Romo, not Edson Álvarez, not Javier Aguirre, is the single most important reason Mexico are genuine round of 16 contenders. And if he keeps performing at this level, he will finish this World Cup as the best goalkeeper in the tournament. Let me explain why this matters so much. Mexico's attacking output through 2 games has been underwhelming. Their XG numbers don't frighten anyone. Their build-up play in the first half against Korea was so passive that sections of their own crowd were growing frustrated. This is not a team that is going to batter opponents 3-0 in the knockout rounds. So what wins tight games at a World Cup? Goalkeeping, defensive organization, the ability to make one save that changes the emotional DNA of a match. Rangel did that in the 87th minute against Korea, with a double save that will be replayed on Mexican television for years. He did it against South Africa. He is doing it every single time his team needs him most. And here's what makes this truly remarkable. Rangel is not a household name outside of Mexico. He doesn't play in Europe. He doesn't have 10 million Instagram followers. He is not the story anyone predicted coming into this tournament. But he is the story. Right now, in this moment, Raúl Rangel is carrying a co-host nation on his back and doing it with the composure of a veteran who has done this 1,000 times before. The mainstream narrative gives all the credit to Aguirre's tactics and Alvarez's leadership. And those things matter. But without Rangel, Mexico have 1 point from 2 games. Maybe 0. He is the difference. Full stop. And if Mexico go deep in this tournament, if they make a run that genuinely shocks the world, the story will start and end with the goalkeeper from Guadalajara who refused to let his country down. Remember that name. Raúl Rangel. All right, let's bring it home. We covered 3 things today. 1. Mexico are winning this World Cup not because their soccer is beautiful, but because their squad depth and individual brilliance are covering the cracks in a system that still isn't fully clicking. 2. Son Heung-min's World Cup is quietly becoming the saddest story of this tournament, a generational talent being erased on the biggest stage at what could be his final chance. And 3. This 1-0 result has completely redrawn the knockout stage map, handing Mexico a free run into the round of 32, while Korea Republic now face a must-win pressure cooker against South Africa. And my final verdict? Even bolder than before. Mexico are not a complete team. Not yet. Their XG numbers don't lie. Their first half against Korea was passive, almost timid. And if this was a knockout game, a real knockout game, that performance gets punished. Badly. But here's the thing that separates good teams from great ones at a World Cup. Good teams need to play well to win. Great teams find a way to win even when they're not playing well. And right now in this tournament, Mexico are finding a way. Every single time. Raúl Rangel is saving them, Edson Álvarez is leading them, and Javier Aguirre, the old fox, is managing the situation with the kind of calm experience that only comes from doing this before. 3 tournaments, 10 World Cup matches. The man has seen everything. And he is using every single lesson from every single one of those games right now. Could Mexico go all the way? Could they lift that trophy on home soil in front of their own people? I'm not saying yes, but I am saying do not sleep on this team. Do not write them off because the soccer wasn't pretty against Korea. Pretty doesn't win World Cups. Resilience does. And this Mexico team, resilient doesn't even begin to cover it. Now, here is my question for you, and I want a real answer in the comments, not a one-word reply. Should Javier Aguirre restore Edson Álvarez to his natural midfield role against Czechia, even if it means disrupting a defensive partnership that just delivered back-to-back clean sheets? Think about it, because that decision alone could define Mexico's entire knockout campaign. Drop your answer below. I read every single comment. And if you watched this entire breakdown, if you stayed with me from that opening hook all the way to the final verdict, then you already know this channel is different. We don't do surface level here. We don't do lazy takes. We go deep, we go bold, and we go honest every single time. If that's the kind of soccer content you've been looking for, hit that subscribe button. Not for me, for your own soccer education. El Tri, Guadalajara, history made, and we were here for all of it.